Like and subscribe for daily videos. What is the worst notification you have received while someone else has had your phone? Was showing my mom some cake ideas for my wife's 30th that I was considering. My wife texts me and my mom, for unknown reasons, got a full view of my wife's spoon with the caption, "Guess what you're eating for dessert tonight?" I tried to grab my phone back, and my mom went back to browsing cakes without skipping a beat. As I was leaving, my mom thought it would be funny to ask, "Would you like second dessert tonight, because I have a trifle in the fridge?" I nearly died of shame. I was ordering food off of DoorDash on my ex's phone when she got a text from a guy saying he couldn't wait to see her that weekend. She told me she was going to see her mom. I have a friend who is an EMT that had a similar experience. When he went to work, he'd often take his iPad with him to play around on between calls. This time though, his girlfriend had forgotten to sign out of Facebook on it. So all of a sudden, the iPad starts going nuts with notifications. He looks and finds the reason is because his girlfriend was flirting and arranging a date with another guy. He didn't speak to her for the rest of his shift, and broke up with her when he got home, sending her back to live with her mother. She made a bunch of threats that she'd kill herself and she'd self-harm if he didn't stay. He told her too bad, wasn't his problem anymore. Unfortunately, he still has to deal with her as they have a daughter, and he tried to get custody but failed. He does his best for her anyway though. Edit: a lot of people have wondered about if/how he doesn't have custody, and I actually don't know much about that situation myself. He'd talked about taking her to court after a prior incident, and it sounded to me like he had a good case from my not-lawyer perspective. I never heard anything about following legal proceedings, or if he even had any after that point. I do know he's getting married to someone else in the near future, and they've seemed happy when I bumped into them. Years ago I was working at an Apple store as a genius technician, and was helping an older woman with her phone. This woman had to be in her late 60s early 70s, as sweet as could be, and was having some minor issues with her phone. I think it was battery life or something. So she hands me her phone, and just as she does, a message pops up with a picture of a toilet full of shit, and the message reads, "How many times do I have to tell you to flush the effing toilet?" Not knowing really what to do, I just hand it back to her and tell her she has a message. She takes the phone, half smiles, closes the message and hands it back saying, "Sorry about that, sweetheart, my daughter can be a bit of a bee." Not me, but a friend we'll call Bob. Bob, some friends, and I went out one night to watch a show in town. Afterwards, we decided to go get some drinks and decided to carpool. Bob's phone was dying, so he asked if he could charge it on the way over with the car charger. While it was charging, it had apparently connected to the car's speaker system and, without a warning, the car read a new text message out loud to all of our surprise. "Hey baby, it's been a long time since you came in my mouth. How about we hook up tonight so I can taste the juice again?" Needlessly to say, he was mortified and the rest of us rolled with laughter on our way to the bar. I was the one doing the sending. I moved to Japan a couple of years ago, and early one morning I was at a market and saw a tanuki statue that had the full privates on display. I took a picture of it and thought it would be funny to send my brother a message reading "unsolicited D-pic." Then send a pic of the tanuki statue. Little did I know, halfway around the world, my brother was doing some late evening car shopping. He had recently been in an accident that had totaled his car and was in the market for a new one. He had handed the car salesman his phone so he could show the guy the pics of the damage to his car, and the guy was looking through them when the words "unsolicited D-pic" popped up on the screen. My brother said the guy nearly dropped the phone trying to shove it back in his hands. A couple of years ago met a guy from Tinder in a pub for our first date. Things were going well, we were having a laugh and flirting. After about an hour I took out my phone to show him a funny meme and up popped a notification from my new period tracking app saying, "Today's the day. You're ovulating." I swiped it real quick and I don't think he got a good look at it, but I was still worried he'd think I was some child-obsessed weirdo who timed my dates so random Tinder guys could impregnate me. I turned off ovulation notifications after that. Edit: and I was the sender once when I text my friend who was planning to break up with her BF, "Hope you're okay. How did Gary take the breakup?" When Gary was using her phone and hadn't yet been broken up with. Sorry Gary. Border Patrol had my phone and my buddy sent me a text in which he jokingly said something like, "What makes you think they'll let you in this time?" Or something like that. I'm surprised there aren't more teacher stories. For me, that's easily my most mortifying one. I had this roommate my sophomore year of college and we had a very weird, close personal relationship. I was in my Spanish professor's office hours and she was waiting for me at the cafeteria to get lunch together. Just before going in I texted her and asked her to get me some fries, and then I turned off my phone. I was showing my professor my paper on my laptop screen, very much forgetting that I had a message set up on my laptop. I'll never forget the look on his face when a notification from my roommate came in with her, jokingly, saying I'll get you fries but only if you centrally feed them to me while you call me daddy. Suffice it to say, that was my last time visiting his office hours. Edit, lol, is this the part where I say thanks for the gold, kind whatever? I was showing my grandma some pictures. She chuckled a bit and quickly handed me back my phone. I looked at it and saw that my boyfriend, now husband, had texted me saying I hate it when I'm pooping and my D touches the water. Big D problems. We laughed about it, but my husband is still horrified by the thought of my grandma knowing about his big D problems. When I was in high school, my friends and I had the habit of giving each other funny contact names on our phones based on jokes we came up with. To this day my high school friends' contact names are things such as Riverbitch, Jeff the Slut, Baby America, Sugar Mama, etc. When we were juniors, a girl who was obsessed with my friend led to his contact name becoming Booty Lord with some rather suggestive emojis following it. Everything was fine and dandy, until a few months later when I had forgotten about it. I was applying for a leadership position in a club I was a member of and was required to get 2 letters of recommendation. For the second letter I asked one of my teachers, who happened to be a very conservative man in his late 70s, if he could write one for me. Being the lazy son of a bitch that he was, he told me to write the letter myself saying all the things I wanted him to say, and he'd sign it. After I finished typing up the letter, I handed him my phone to let him read and approve it before I printed it out. About 45 seconds after I gave him my phone, he, very loudly and incredulously, said "Booty Lord?" and gave me a horrified look and shoved the phone back into my hands. That was hard to explain. I was chatting with a guy and it was going well, nothing sexual, maybe mild flirting. So I didn't care when I gave my buddy my phone for some reason. Then across the room he yells, "Yo, this dude just asked if you'd be down for anal." Edit, no, I would not be down to do anal, especially not with people I barely know. I've had the reverse of this situation happen to me. I was using my flatmate's desktop Mac, and as iOS users will know, any notification you get on your iPhone will appear on screen on all of your other Apple devices. I was on the computer in his bedroom while he was in the kitchen grabbing a snack, and he received a phone call from an unknown number. I saw this notification on his computer, which gave me the option to answer the call for him. I thought it would be funny if I took the call before he could answer it on his phone, meaning he would have to run through to his bedroom where I would be silently laughing myself to an early grave. I clicked to answer, expecting it to be some kind of cold call. The voice on the other end, amplified by my flatmate's gratuitous Sonos speaker setup, said, "Hello, this is the police." My soul left my body. I absolutely cannonballed out of his room, making the most apologetic eye contact I have ever made with a human being. Turns out he had been caught red-handed in a traffic incident on his way back from an interview, and they got his contact details from the dashcam footage of his registration plate. They were calling him in for some questioning. It was a wonderfully devious experience which I was absolutely not prepared for, and we have never spoken of it since. Not my phone. In high school, there was a couple who had recently started dating. Let's call them John and Sarah. They were both seen as quite innocent, and we were all in theater together. I was at a rehearsal at John's house, and he showed me his phone for a second. Right as I looked, a text popped up from Sarah saying, "I want you to fuck me from behind." I was a bit in shock and started laughing uncomfortably, and when John received his phone back, he was horrified. Personally, I just thought it was hilarious and definitely a pivotal moment with that group of theater kids. Not me but my mom. Went skiing with her and myself. Her partner at the time was also snowboarding, but at a resort about a 20 minutes drive from where we were staying, he was there with his friends. In the town they were staying at, there's a really nice steakhouse which does an amazing filet. Anyway, he sends her a picture of the steak the one night whilst we were just chilling in the hotel room. As she turns the phone around saying, "Oh, look how amazing this steak looks," another message pops up unknown to my mom saying, "Tastes like your PC." And that is how I cannot eat filet steel anymore. I used to be the director of an a cappella group. During rehearsal I would project sheet music from my tablet onto a big screen to help people follow along. We were having solo auditions one day, and after one girl auditioned, the assistant director texted me from across the room, "Oof, that was awful." My tablet received the message and the notification was displayed for everyone in the group to see, including the girl who had just auditioned. This post shows us that phones just need a simple side button to temporarily turn off all notifications. Edit: FYI, I appreciate that you are you and that your comment is unique and meaningful, but just so you know, 40 people have already responded with the suggestion of using airplane mode, do not disturb, or OnePlus. Simple solution to this is to just smash your phone. Can't get any embarrassing notifications if you don't have a phone. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for daily videos.